never really were. The symbols are on the buildings. The names are in the files. The money has a trail. And the children have no voice. Except this one.
Follow the money, follow the access, follow the island, follow the list, now watch.
Epstein built the network, but the network was already there before he ever existed.
Every billionaire foundation, every charity front already enlisted. Rothschild, Rockefeller, 100-year architecture built on something darker. Children used as currency in rooms that no investigator gets to charter. Files got sealed, witnesses, mechanic guards fell asleep on the same night. Cameras malfunctioned in the exact cell at the exact time. How convenient, right?
The foundations collect the children. The governments collect the silence. The media collects the check, and they all answer to the same ancient name. Boom, 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 boom.
They built it in plain sight, symbols on the currency, owls on the buildings, goats on the altars, now watch.
Big government front organizations laundering children through charitable names.
Animal rescue operations used as cover stories nobody ever claims. Sacrificed on schedules that align with dates no coincidence can explain. Every major elite gathering, same ritual, same symbol, same in your frame.
Rockefeller built the institutions, Rothschild built the banks. Both built the system that keeps the darkness.
Funded and protected from the people asking questions from the children with no name.
The island had a temple, the temple had an altar. The altar had a purpose that the mainstream never falters. To cover and to bury, to discredit. Every single person who gets close enough to learn. Do it for ball. They've been doing it for centuries. They do it for ball. And they sacrifice the ones who cannot run. The one. Epstein did not build that network alone. The flight logs have names. The names have foundations. The foundations have access to children. Documented. In case files that keep getting sealed. In testimonies that keep getting buried. In witnesses that keep dying before they testify. The banking architecture funded the institutions. The medical and educational infrastructure built the pipeline. Big government on every continent signed the agreements that gave these organizations access to the most vulnerable, and the symbol above every door in every room where this happens has always been the same. They serve something ancient and they pay in the currency that the powerless cannot protect. Every major world event has a financial beneficiary. Follow who profited. Every charity protecting children. Check who runs it and who audited. Every government agency tasked with stopping trafficking. Check conviction rates. Every elite foundation board member check their travel, check their dates.
The animals do use this cover, use this currency, use this symbols and ceremonies. The documents keep referencing, but nobody is supposed to read. Crystal sees it, the gangster sees it, the files are public. The only thing missing is the courage to say it out loud.
They'll do it for ball.
Read the files.
They've been doing it for centuries. Epstein was not alone.
They do it for ball. Foundation money.
And they sacrifice the ones who cannot run.
Except this one.
The island, the temple, the altar, the list,
sealed files, the dead witnesses. Bum, 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 bum.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Danksters in the building. We are going to do a fantastic show. I am excited for today's show. So welcome back, Dankster Nation. I thought I'd try something else, but I also like Dankster Fear and Dankster Fear. Don't fear the Dankster. Dankster Sphere and all the Danksterettes and Danksters. Welcome back. It is your boy, the only American original Dankster, back again Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. If you're new here, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, smash the like, and thank you for all the new subscribers. We've gotten about maybe 1,500 new subscribers in the last few days, and maybe another 5,000 in the last couple of weeks. So thanks for joining. I appreciate it, and you're in for a treat. So today is not going to be just a hot take or anything like that. It's going to be unique. All right. A lot of people are talking about the ballroom, right? We're hearing a lot about the ballroom, and I figured why not explain to people a little bit about what got us here, right? I want to start with a question though, okay? When you hear the words White House ballroom, what do you picture? Chandeliers, marble, state dinners, dignitaries dancing under crystal lights. I want you to picture this instead. A 90,000 square foot fortified federal facility designed by Pentagon hardening specialists sitting on top of military infrastructure and a Secret Service annex paid for with $400 million in taxpayer customs fees, while we are at $40 trillion in debt. And the Supreme Court has already ruled that the custom fees they are tapping are constitutionally questionable. Interesting. How could that be? Of course, they wouldn't do such a questionable thing against our Constitution, would they? So that's not the same picture as a ballroom, perhaps, right? And I'm going to walk you through about 84 years of receipts that show that this is not the first time that this exact thing has been done at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And it won't be the last unless we start asking the right questions. So before we get into the present day receipts, I want to ground us in history. You know how I like to do, because if you don't understand the pattern, the present day will look kind of like a one-off conspiracy. And that's what it's being portrayed as, even from many social media independent accounts, some that I watch and I'm friendly with, which is fine. You know, it's because that's what it looks like on the surface. But when you understand the pattern, when you understand the present day actually looks like the third installment of a 90-year sequence that has always ended the same way, with more concrete, more compartmentalization, and more distance between the president and the American people. So drop a yes in the chat if you've already seen the Lindsey Graham ballroom clip from last week. We are going to play it, or from, yes, I think it was yesterday, over the last few days. We're going to play it, but first, we're going to dive into some American history, because I think this is important to lay the groundwork for everything. So, you ready for this one? Because this is where the present day stops being speculation and starts being precedent. In 1942, in the middle of the World War II, Franklin D. Roosevelt built the East Wing of the White House. The official reason given to the public and to Republicans in Congress was that it was needed to house additional staff and offices for the wartime executive branch. The actual reason, and I'm quoting the White House Historical Association directly here, the actual reason was, quote, primarily to cover up an underground bunker, end quote. Okay. That's not speculation. This is not the dankster connecting dots. That is the official institutional historian of the White House saying on the record and that the East Wing was constructed to physically conceal the existence of an underground military bunker. All right. Let me see if I have photos of this. I should have pulled some up, but let me see. I think I can pull this up. Franklin Roosevelt. So this is back in the Roosevelt days. Let me share my screen here. So back then, this was on history. Let me see, the White House East Wing. So just to give a little context, like this has happened before. Let me see, East Wing. It's East Wing, right? So you can see they've already, we've known about renovations, right? But they've said this, okay? Now, why was this necessary? Because at the time, Republicans were openly criticizing the project. The White House Historical Association project president Stuart McLaren wrote that quote, "The secretive nature of the construction tied to military purposes further fueled suspicions," end quote. Same skepticisms then, same dismissals of the skeptics, and the skeptics were right. Now, the 1942 East Wing was the cover, the bunker was the project, okay? 8 years later, the same thing happened again. President Harry Truman moved across the street to Blair House because the entire White House interior was structurally failing between 1948 and 1952. The White House underwent the most extensive renovation in its history at that time. Truman's reconstruction, the contract was originally estimated at $1 million, and that was in the 40s and early 50s. By the time it was finished, it costed $5.7 million, or roughly in today's money, $70 million. Okay. Now, from I'm going to read this here from the official Wikipedia article. Let me see if I can pull this source up real quick. Yes. Yeah. So if I can find this quote. Yeah, here we go. Let's share this. Okay. So, quote, "The biggest change during construction was announced on August 1st, 1950, when the president authorized a separate and highly secret project. Project 9 was officially described as certain protective measures to be added to the new basement and underground shelter to resist attack from an atomic bomb." It's very interesting, the timing, don't you think? All of this talk about, or not talk, activity in the Middle East, bombs, all of this, I don't know. So, an atomic bomb shelter, okay? It was designed by the same architect and contractor as the main project and installed under the East Terrace and the garden to the south and between the mansion and the East Wing. So access was through the northeast corner of the new basement level. Project 9, an atomic bomb shelter, hidden inside the cover of the Truman renovation. Same playbook, same years as the Blair House assassination attempt against Truman. So now we have two documented historical examples. 1942, FDR builds the East Wing as cover for an underground bunker. 1950, Truman builds Project 9 as a hidden component of his renovation. Both were sold to the public as something completely different. Both were actually military hardening projects. Both proved the skeptics correct in retrospect. This is the precedent. This is the pattern. This is the receipt that elevates the current ballroom story from speculation to third documented instance here. In 2008, the East and West Wings underwent the largest confirmed White House modernization in the past century, 100 years. Total cost was $376 million at the time, which adjusts for inflation is $561 million today. Now, the project was specifically described as upgrading electrical, plumbing, and security systems that had reached, quote, critical need to be replaced, end quote. Now, the replacement was to prevent imminent failure, and this is all quoted. That's the federal study language. Now, the 2008 renovation involved extensive underground work, including hardening communications and command capabilities. Most of the actual work is classified, by the way. We don't even know the full scope to this day. So now stack some more history. You've got 1942's East Wing built as bunker, covered, cost denied, Republican skeptics were correct. 1950, Project 9, atomic bomb shelter hidden inside Truman's renovations, officially called certain protective measures. That was 1950. 2008, $376 million in classified East and West Wing infrastructure modernization. And now, 2026, a $400 million ballroom project built by a Pentagon hardening architect with military infrastructure underneath, confirmed by Lindsey Graham. So I was going back in the chat to see if you guys have seen what Graham has said. Most of you have said no. Okay. So I'm going to show this in just a second. I'll show it right now. So this is a 4-instance pattern for over 84 years. Every 25 years on average, the executive branch builds new hardened infrastructure at the White House under cover of public-facing renovations. The question is no longer, is the ballroom a bunker? The question is, what is there? Like, what is the bunker for this time? But this is where this thing gets interesting. I'll go ahead and play this clip. I think that we should probably go there since you haven't seen it yet, most of you. Smash the like and put a comment in the chat. And let me know if you think Lindsey Graham is a lizard in the chat. Lindsay, put a lizard. Do we think, like, the thumbnail I made, I think is so fire, by the way. I can't, no capping on this. Here, let me just share the thumbnail just real quick for fun. I think, like, this is so, I was like, yes, I feel good about this one. Not in like a spiritual sense. I think that it's a great thumbnail. Anyways, that's my personal preference. Let's get back to the guy. All right, let's go ahead and make sure audio's on. We're good, not pulling a Baron. Okay, let's run it.
Introduce legislation that would authorize $400 million to be spent to secure to build the presidential ballroom. Underneath, there will be a lot of military stuff. There will be a Secret Service annex, and we've paid for it by offsetting it with custom fees. But the estimate is $332 million. We're going to do $400 million because I think it's probably going to take more. Private donations can be used, but I think they should be used for buying China and stuff like that. Underneath this ballroom will be.
Let's just take money from the customs, offset fees, whatever, and we'll just use donor money to buy high-end fancy China and stuff like that. So, like, they know they could raise money for like a bunker. Listen to what he said. He literally said it. I'll play it again in the beginning.
Legislation that would
legislation, by the way,
authorize $400 million to be spent to secure to build the presidential ballroom. Underneath, there will be a lot of military stuff. There will be a Secret Service annex, and we've paid for it by offsetting it with custom fees. But the estimate is $332 million. We're going to do $400 million because I think it's probably going to take more. Private donations can be used, but I think they should be used for buying China and stuff like that. Underneath this ballroom will be infrastructure that is national security centric. The ballroom itself will avoid the dilemma of having to leave the White House grounds with future presidents and this president's to go downtown in a place that's less secure. President Trump said to me this morning, yesterday, we need the ballroom, not just for me, but for future presidents. He literally could have left his bedroom, walked out the back of the White House, and been at the ballroom. That's what needs to happen when you have 1,000 or 2,000 people gathered in today's environment. And the sooner we get the ballroom built, the more hardened it is, the better for the country.
More hardened. Remember, I just was talking about hardened.
So I hope and pray.
Hardened is like, there's various terms you could, like various ways you could reference the word hardened. Like if I reference it for code or for security, you're strengthening the security measures.
That most people in the Senate after Saturday night will support this bill.
So clearly,
Introduce legislation.
I mean, his words, you know, I mean, introduce legislation, custom fees and taxes, tariffs are just so you know, custom fees and tariffs are taxes paid at the U.S. border on imported goods. And do you remember when they did the tariffs, right? And they were saying tariffs are going to be great because it's going to, people were confused, right? They didn't understand. They were like, oh, the foreign country is paying the tariffs. No, that's not how it works. The American business or the business in-house in this country pays the tariff. So this is custom fees and tariffs are taxes paid at the U.S. border on imported goods. The political talking point is that foreign companies pay them, but that is not how it works in practice. And multiple economic studies, and even the recent Trump era tariffs were passed almost entirely through to American firms and American consumers. There's over 90% pass through on most categories. Steel prices actually rose 22%. So when you when you are forcing this raise in tariffs, that affects the pricing because then they have to pay more for the item. So like, for example, if I was selling high-end t-shirts and I was paying $100 a shirt and there was a 25% tariff on China's shirts that I was buying from China, well, now I have to pay $25 more, essentially. Like that's my cost. So if I'm selling the shirt for $250, I'm going to have to charge 25% more and the price goes up significantly, right? Now, in March of 2026, the Supreme Court struck down most of Trump's tariffs as unconstitutional, and the federal government now actually owes roughly $160 billion in tariff refunds to the businesses that paid those tariffs. And NPR on April 19th reported that the Customs and Border Protection refund portal opened that day. So Graham wants to take $400 million from the same pool of money that the Supreme Court has already ruled was illegally collected, and that the federal government is currently being forced to pay back to businesses that money. But in order to build the ballroom with military infrastructure underneath it, they want to use that same money. Like, I needed to break this stuff down so people understand what the heck is going on here. Okay, more money out of our pocket for security. And sure, like, this is the thing. Like, I'm going to go off of my little situation here that I'm kind of guiding along and say, look, if the Secret Service cannot be trained to the point, my camera is kind of like, you're going to get all this extra security infrastructure and digital hardened protective infrastructure. However, you can't even protect any, like, there's obviously been a failure significantly in the protocols that be, right? Whether it's the methodology of which, the pacing of how you withdraw someone from a room. Like, for example, everybody's seen the J.D. Vance clip being pulled recently from the Washington, D.C. White House Correspondents Dinner. They pulled him very quickly, and then Trump was there for an additional 13 to 20 seconds, right? That's protocol, and I've talked to various people about it. But nonetheless, like, you should get number one off point, right? Off the X. Even if they have different teams, like, there's a lot of inconsistencies here that need to be fixed, and no matter amount of money is going to fix actual personnel training. This is the issue that we have. We have a personnel training issue, or we have an obvious attempt, if it's not personnel training and a lack of sophisticated technique training, then an intel training and like doing all of this stuff in a proper way, then there's some obvious issue as far as on purpose, which I would hate to think is the case, right? So you're going to take, instead of using private funding to actually fund this, you're going to take refund money owed back to American businesses and launder it into a bunker construction project at this location. I want to make sure this lands because this is the part that nobody will connect, the corporate media specifically, and a lot of other channels probably won't. But you, the American consumer, are paying for this, okay? You are paying for it through higher prices on everything that you are imported. And if you want to go buy something that's imported, you are also going to have to pay a higher price on that item. It's not a win-win situation. They're taking as much as they possibly can. It's like Hail Mary on just like, I don't know, man. The American consumer is paying for this, okay? The money the Supreme Court has ruled the government has to refund is being redirected to build a fortified federal facility at the White House with hardened infrastructure underneath. While we are $40 trillion in debt, and that's not to mention all the other stuff that goes on to it. It's not just 40 trillion, it's like 100 trillion plus. That's just, it's garbage. And this is what Graham has confirmed. That is what Judge Leon's ruling exposed. And that is what really no one, especially in corporate media, is going to put together for you, because they are not in the business of connecting these dots, but I am. Now, I'm going to play a clip. I want to thank Melanie King for raising some questions in the community, because it's really interesting what this means for future presidents. So I want to pull up this clip from her. Great job, Melanie. She came out and made a video. I watched it, I think it was last night. And she's been going through some stuff. So shout out to Melanie for getting out some content that's important. Let me pull this up. I'm going to be playing a few really good clips today. Here it is. Okay. So after the read of Lindsey Graham, we're going to play this here. I think this is, so yeah, we'll just play it from here.
Annex. And we've paid for it by
I'm sure nobody would hurt to hear it one more time, right? I'll just play.
offsetting it with custom fees. But the estimate is $332 million. We're going to do $400 million because I think it's probably going to take more. Private donations can be used, but I think they should be used for buying China and stuff like that.
He's saying it right now. He literally just said it. It's going, listen. Do I have to play it again? Here, listen. Listen to what he says. This is
Underneath, there will be a lot of military stuff. There will be a Secret Service annex.
Like, why, how can that not land? Underneath, there's going to be a lot of secret military stuff, not even Secret Service only or protection stuff. I mean, he literally came out and said military installments are going to be put inside underneath this thing. And also, it's like the spacing is not even, it's not the size that they even would need. I think that the ballroom they were just in was like twice the size, if I'm not mistaken.
And we've paid for it by offsetting it with custom fees.
And please smash the like, hit the subscribe button. Feel free to join for 99 cents. We do members only live streams every Friday. Sorry for the ones that missed it and tried to go back this Friday. For some reason, YouTube, like, I don't know what happened to it. It cut down to just a minute 30. So I privatized it, but we did do the live. There was plenty of people there. I hope that we can get more members in the Friday live. So if you definitely don't want to miss it, it's only $1. If you join on an Apple phone, they charge you an additional 30% on pretty much all apps. So you might want to join on a browser if you don't want to pay $1.50 or something. But just so you know, but yeah, I don't take any sponsorships. I don't play any forced ads or anything like that. So anything that you contribute to, whether it's a super chat, a sticker, a join in the membership or join the Patreon, then that's all goes to me for the investigation. So I appreciate everybody.
But the estimate is 332 million. We're going to do 400 million because I think it's probably going to take more. Private donations can be used, but I think they should be used for buying China and stuff like that. Underneath this ballroom will be infrastructure that is national security centric.
Underneath this ballroom, there will be military stuff, installation, Secret Service annex, which a Secret Service annex, in the context of government, is a specialized secure facility, I guess you could say, or like a workspace dedicated to supporting the overall agency's protective missions or investigations as well, which is fine, I guess. I don't, obviously we want to have these protective measures, but I'm sure that they already have these, right? Why does it need to be in a bunker underneath the White House? This is actually what he's saying. On top of it, and what he just said.
This ballroom will be buying China and stuff like that. Underneath this ballroom will be infrastructure that is national security centric. The ballroom itself.
National security centric. So centered on national security. Okay. The NSA, National Security Agency. Isn't that where Snowden leaked information out saying that they were spying on everybody? So if you're talking about centric national security, what kind of national security would be pertaining to needing to be underneath the White House?
Will avoid the dilemma of having to leave the White House grounds with future presidents and this president's to go downtown in a place that's less secure. President Trump said to me this morning, yesterday, we need the ballroom, not just for me, but for future presidents.
So let me skip through. He's just talking out of his ass now. Okay. So Melanie King brings up some interesting topics here.
Now there's a bill to build the ballroom. I'm just trying to make the leap right now from the assassination attempt and the ballroom, because
I just made it for you. I've made the connection for you. Every time they want to do something, they create a reason for it that's public facing. I don't know why they would need to create this dramatic situation out of it. Unfortunately, hopefully it's not fake, but I don't know if I need to play all the clips that we've seen running over and over where Jesse showed that it looks like a sign, an AI cut from Benny Johnson, and then it looks like a glitch or a light. It's like, what the heck, bro? People are calling it glass. Nobody knows what the hell it is.
The implications of what they're saying is that, Trump will only American presidents going forward would only have events or attend events that are in the ballroom, maybe like in the US. So no events in any hotel for something outside the White House, no event, no rallies. I don't
know if they said that the president is not going to be attending any outside events. However, imagine this. Well, let me let her get through this.
I'm saying, I understand what they're saying, but if you actually critically think about this, the implications are that a president will never attend any event outside of this ballroom. How is that possible? How is that possible?
I don't know where she's getting those implications. I didn't get that. Let me run back. So that's at 5:02. Let me go to the end of what he said here.
Buying China and stuff like that. Yesterday. We need the ballroom, not just for me, but for future presidents. He literally could have left his bedroom, walked out the back of the White House, and been at the ballroom. That's what needs to happen when you have 1,000 or 2,000 people gathered in today's environment.
Interesting. That's what needs to happen when there's 1,000 or 2,000 people in today's environment. Okay. how are you going to have this, like the United States president, person that we're supposed to have voted in, allegedly, what, like just no more external events? How about, see, this is what is so insane, is instead of hardening their actual personnel, they just are going to isolate the president, put him in a bunker, if any, like put him in a ballroom on property. And so what? So you become president and your ass is stuck inside that building for all of your events. You don't get to travel. Like, now I see what she's saying. And sometimes there's more than 2,000 people. There's like tens of thousands of people that show up to rallies. Think about it. Like, let's see. Donald Trump outside rallies. I mean, remember, they're saying that the Tyler Robinson UVU was 3,000 people, which there's actually no head count to prove such. Crowd size. I mean, look at this, bro. Look at this. How are you going to fit? This is only this is like a small rally. There's at least 4,000 people here. Did they say how many people are here? 5,600 people estimated. Similar to 4,600 in 2023, 5,200 in 2022. I mean, how is this even, like, they're doing, this is where they get caught up in things that don't make any sense. All right.
So if he's invited to speak at something, which most presidents are, multiple times a year, this is like one of the main things presidents do. I just don't see how that means, okay, if we build the ballroom, then that means what? Other than a president will not be allowed to attend any event outside of the ballroom. You get what I'm saying? You get, like,
I love the way she talks. You get what I'm saying? I love it. She's so cool.
I get what they're saying.
She's professional. I like her work. She's like professional, but she's chill. She reminds me of like a female me. I like it.
But this is crazy because look, this was Trump about the White House ballroom in February. Okay, take a listen. So we have Lindsey Graham introducing this. We have Trump saying the need to build the ballroom. We're seeing all the influencers talking about the ballroom after this assassination attempt. We see that most people, even Fox viewers, mostly Trump's base, they don't believe this was real. There's just been too many psyops.
By the way, I will get to super chats. I might get through them. There's only like a few and some members so far, but I'll get through them sporadically as I switch before we move into the next topic. I'm going to be doing these live streams in phases, so we're going to move to a different topic shortly, or at least a different clip and stuff like that.
Too many things. And after the Epstein list, like a lot of people who were asleep woke up. I mean, partially, I will say most of them. They don't realize everything in history's been a lie. The founding of America, like literally everything, guys. Like, I kid you not. The buildings, the founding, all of it, the Native American slavery, like everything has been a lie. And I don't say that lightly. I've had to come to that place. So this is why I watch all this as a show. This is entertainment because we are in the last days. Make no mistake about it. This is the great deception. There are people who are going to be led astray by this, which is wild to me. Okay. Wow. But the vast majority will. And it's not just like believing what the administration says, but like jumping to the opposition. Like that's what they want you to be. There's a believe there's a left and a right, and there's always opposition, but it's two wings of the same bird serving the same math.
So shout out to Melanie King raising some interesting questions. I actually want to bring up a post from Sam Parker next. He breaks this down really well. Let me actually bring this on screen. So the ballroom and radical leftism psyops are cover for a Stargate command underground. I want to know if you think that this is, let me know in the chat. Do you think that there's some Stargate like data center, mass surveillance state Do you think that this is what the infrastructure is going to be? Because we have now certified from Lindsey Graham's mouth. Look, something like a ballroom would cost maybe like I put 30 on my post. I actually made a post here. Let me go to my post real quick. I made a post and I said, what did I say? Oh, okay. I thought I said something different, but maybe not. The thing is, like, $400 million is a lot. 332 million is a lot, right? But real quick, I'll just say this is what he's saying. On tape, killing the private funded, it's a lie. We're going to introduce legislation that would authorize $400 million to be spent to build the presidential ballroom. Underneath, there will be a lot of military stuff. I pulled the transcript specifically from his words. There will be a lot of military stuff. There will be a Secret Service annex. We've paid for it by offsetting it with customs fees. It's estimated at 332 million. We're doing 400 million because I think it's probably going to take more. Remember what I said in the past. Every single time we had a renovation, it was like 2 to 3x more. Okay. And now will it cost 1.5 billion? I mean, I hope not. But if they're going to be pulling from specific funding, then they would have this particular budget. But in my mind, it's like I could see like 30 million, maybe, I guess, it's the White House. But dude, $400 million it's from the business owners. It's from us, essentially. 1,000 capacity ballroom for a 2,600 person dinner. It doesn't math. Architect Shalom Baranas, Pentagon wedges 2 to 5 hardening posts after post 9/11. SCIFs, compartmentalization, 0 ballroom portfolio. Oracle 2021 Jerusalem underground build was $319 million, 4 floors, 50 meters deep. Larry Ellison. Project Stargate, $500 billion AI infrastructure. Ellison, Altman, Trump. FISA 702, emergency extension to April 30th. White House Correspondents Dinner, shooting drops. Ballroom narrative resurges within hours. I mean, you guys, I think I have a post also that homeboy, shout out to JP Sears, Awaken with JP. He said, this could be organic, but it's kind of weird. Patriotic blonde. I think that we had a bickering back and forth. I don't think she likes me very much. But she did make this. This is why Andrew Colvett, Ballroom, Libs of TikTok, Ballroom, Jack Posobiec, Ballroom, End of Wokeness, Ballroom, Wall Street Mav, Meghan McCain, Tara Bull, Dustin Gregg, Bryland Hollyhand coming back into the picture when Democrats. Ballroom, ASAP, Randy Fine, Nick Adams, Sean Farrar. This is just a few, right? Not to mention, if we go to Rand Paul, everybody who just loves Rand Paul, I think, was it this one? I think Rand Paul is the one that put it out. I know he did. I just need to find. God, this guy posted a ton, bro. Holy smokes. Here it is. So he's falling into the mix. Okay. And I asked a question on a live stream with Bays and American Discourse today. And I said, if Rand Paul, one of the highest revered politicians for Americans that feel like he's America first, is in on this, and I'm not saying presidential security is not important, but what I am saying is that they should probably focus on personnel training and methodology for security over taking more money to build a security military infrastructure underneath the White House, as opposed to learning how to protect the president outside of it. I'm dropping a bill tomorrow. Let's build the ballroom. So what I'm asking is, if Rand Paul is in on all this, what makes him so so what? So we're going to assume that Thomas Massie is the only good person left in the entire ever? Why? Why would we assume that? Because eventually they show their real colors. I don't trust any of them. Now, I do think it's great that Thomas Massie's been doing work with the Epstein victims. I think this is a very important thing. So is Ro Khanna. And Ro Khanna's taken over $1 million from AIPAC. Okay. Eventually, they show their true colors. I hope that Thomas Massie is the one and only credible, like, positive for this country politician. But judging by the numbers, because I'm a numbers guy, it's highly, highly, highly unlikely. And you have to grapple that. There's not one politician at all that is going to save us, that is going to do everything it takes. Because if so, we would have gotten the files already. I think there's like 20 terabytes of Epstein data, and we've gotten half of one, which means there's 40 times more data that we are missing, if that number is correct. 40x data from the Epstein files. That's what's missing still from our eyes. Okay, I don't want to be, not to be morbid, but I think we should be careful who we believe versus what is being shown to us. Okay. So he's saying Project Stargate. Shortly after the inauguration, Trump stood with Larry Ellison, Sam Altman to announce Project Stargate. So I think this is interesting. And then there is a video I think he has here. Let me see what.
I will say, it's not a particularly secure building. And I didn't want to say this.
This is right after. So it's like a plan, right? Everybody wants to say, like, was this planned? Is this fake? Is this well, if the guy comes out and after the White House Correspondents Dinner, like that night, they're all in their tuxes, and this goofball over here and this goofy ass over here.
But this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room. And
already planning at the White House. This was already planned. It's already been in the works. This was the final push. This was the bill. Like, we need to get the bill, and like, we need to protect, like, dude.
It's much more secure. It's drone proof. It's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before.
After Charlie Kirk assassination.
How are you holding up over the last 3.5 years? I think very good. And by the way, right there.
Remember when he was saying, after he asked, people were like, he's talking about a ballroom when Charlie Kirk was assassinated? Just sideswipe. This is that. This now. Do you see?
You see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And I just see all the trucks. We just started, so it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually.
I want to know why they need a bill. Let me ask AI something real quick. Let me say, start fresh. Would a White House renovation need a bill to pass? If not, were there bills in historical White House renovations? If not necessary, what would make a bill necessary to renovate? This is an interesting question, I think. Whether a White House renovation requires a bill to pass depends entirely on the scale of the work and the source of funding. Well, yeah, that's what I figured. I should have known better. While minor redecorating is permitted, major structural changes in projects using taxpayer money require congressional approval. And then the Truman reconstruction that I mentioned, they had a bill in 1949. Expansion projects under the West Wing, Roosevelt, both authorized and funded by Congress. Standard allowances. Congress provides a regular redecorating allowance that has risen to $100,000 as of 99. When a bill is necessary, a specific congressional approval becomes necessary in the following scenarios: federal funding, major changes, legal challenges, oversight requirements. So we need to see this bill. Projects not requiring a bill, private funding, routine maintenance, interior redecorating. So we need to see this bill. Let me move to, we're going to move on to the next part of the show. That's still the same part, but I think this guy does a really good job of talking about this stuff, dude. I crack up watching him because he's just so blatant. I'm going to move it at a little bit faster pace. I like this guy. I've been watching him for a while. Sometimes he's a little fringe. This is The Disturbing Illusion. Let me read this super chat. What's up, Don P? It is a ballroom. Its design is exactly like Solomon's Temple, constructed by our greatest ally, which you're right. At the end of this, he actually shows an example of that right here. So if you look here, I'll play this first, actually.
Demons. Not to mention Trump's epic ballroom kind of resembles Solomon's Temple for some reason. Leave your thoughts. Ballroom kind of resembles.
Look at that. Does it not? Want me to make it bigger? So if you see the front here, the design, okay.
Solomon's.
And then very similar design with the multi front steps with the pillars.
Not to mention Trump's.
I mean, this is it's pretty damn close, bro.
Epic ballroom kind of resembles Solomon's Temple for.
Interesting. Let's start at the beginning here. I like this dude right here. He does good work.
I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Oh, let me thanks for the super chat, by the way, Don P. It is a ballroom. It's okay, yeah. Welcome, Jody. Remember, Fridays, come join us. Fridays around the same time I started this live today. Mad Max, hey, what's up, big dog? Good to see you. Heather Kennedy, welcome to all of you. 99 cents, become a member.
You're horrible.
So now we're going to get into the footage of Trump being questioned regarding the shooter and his motives and his letter, his whatever, what do they call it? The letter that he wrote, and him being questioned. And I think that Disturbing Illusion breaks this down really well. I like his breakdown.
Horrible people. Horrible people. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
The pathetic propagandists over at Fake Stream Faux News actually say that Roblox is being used by demons to destroy America's children.
You mentioned Roblox. I think there is literally no stronger and larger vehicle for demonic forces and the complete insidious nature of destroying our children than Roblox.
There's no stronger and larger vehicle for demonic forces and the complete insidious nature of destroying our children than Roblox. Doesn't she report the news? Isn't she aware of the existence of Washington's District of Criminals?
I like his he has really cool names for the acronyms, like viable names, like Washington District of Criminals, DC.
What about the demons of the Republicrats and Demoplicans? And then there's Carolyn, I lie harder when I have a cross around my neck, Levitt, who wants you to stop calling her master, who acts like a fascist.
Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy.
Oh, by the way, they're blaming this on us. They're blaming this on us. Yeah. On anybody, actually. They're blaming it on anyone that basically doesn't agree with Trump. If you call him any names, this is your fault, by the way.
Compare him to Hitler to score political points are fueling this kind of violence.
Forget about democracy, because that's two wolves and a lamb deciding on what to have for dinner. It's the tyranny of the majority. Can anybody name a president who hasn't been a threat to liberty, to American freedoms, to our pocketbooks, to our young sons and daughters who they throw on the battlefield in the theater of war, who devalue our dollar and increase the national debt exponentially with each passing administration, whether Republican or Democrat? I would say if there was anything that was truly demonic, it would be that. Now, I don't like Nora or the fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra media organization she represents.
Dude, this guy, bro. I got to hear that one more time.
Anything that was truly demonic, it would be that.
Listen to how he just spews this. Like he's not reading from. I don't think he's reading from me. This is just how he talks. This guy is hilarious.
Now, I don't like Nora or the fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra media organization she represents, but I think she asked a really good question here. And Donald Trump, well, let's say he got a little suspiciously defensive. Let her rip, Nora.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that. Crap.
So she even raised it like, do you think he was referring? So before they even implicated him, it's either him being so self-conscious about this, or he's aware that people have said this about him, that he just jumped straight to the conclusion of that it was him. Which I guess I could understand if it was someone that they're saying that they came to kill him. But she literally said, like, she called him out. She was like, are you saying it was you?
Crap.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Cuts her off. He's like, oh, he probably is like, oh shit.
I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap.
He really thought for a second, didn't he?
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile.
Oh, dude, the pause got him, bro. That's crazy. I didn't realize that till now.
You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me.
Stuff that has nothing to do with you. You were best pals with Jeffrey Epstein for at least 15 years, and you wished Ghislaine Maxwell well.
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is.
Mr. President, the other day a reporter asked you about Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years.
There's a slip up here. There's a slip up that I caught. I don't know if anyone else pointed out. I'm sure someone has, but I'll show you.
Especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is. Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
I don't know that, but I do know that.
She has. She's been arrested for that.
How do you not know that, bro? What are you talking about? You lie you just lie. That's it. Like that's the default reaction. Lie. I don't know that. What do you mean, bro?
Friend or boyfriend
Epstein
was either killed or committed suicide.
In jail. So he literally he's admitting that the official narrative, he is he literally, listen to what he said.
She has. She's been arrested for that.
Her friend or boyfriend
Epstein
was either killed or committed suicide in jail.
Think about that. Dude is saying that. All right.
She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck.
And you sought to use your DOJ to bury the Epstein documents. And one of the reasons you did that, and we hear this from Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's because some of your powerful, well-connected friends might be hurt with the disclosure of the.
If you believe that Trump is hiding, if you think that he is in the files and beyond beyond recoverable, to where if even just him specific, I want to know how many of you just put yes or Trump, whatever, something to verify. Do you believe that he is damnified inside those files? Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to come on screen here, and she talks about her on Piers Morgan, her last conversation as of that call or that phone video that she's going to be on screen here with Piers Morgan, the last conversation she had with Trump. And it's pretty something. That's all I can say.
The Epstein documents. Let's listen from Marjorie herself.
When was the last
Marjorie Trader Brown, huh?
time you spoke to Donald
The
Trump?
only one that I believed See, this is, sorry, I keep cutting it, but I personally believe that politicians intentional, like the purpose of a politician was supposed to be how Marjorie Greene approached it, right? And yeah, sure, she went in, she made money, like that is something else, okay? But she was and is a mother of 3, I think. She had a career, okay? And then wanted to make a change. And she went into office for a few years. Now she couldn't make the change, so she left. I believe that this is how it should be. It shouldn't be these indefinite terms where they're just forever in office. So this is how it should be. You go in, you try to do your thing, you do whatever you can, and then you bounce. But they are so power hungry and greedy, so financially hungry and greedy that they stay forever. People are dying on the Senate floor and the House and all this. Can't even speak. They got someone there behind. What did the lady's name that she couldn't even speak? And how many instances of them are there in this situation? It's ridiculous.
Trump.
The last time I spoke to him was on the telephone. I was in my office in the Rayburn building. He was at the White House, and he was yelling at me because I wouldn't take my name off of the discharge petition. And I told the president, there's no way I'll take my name off of here. These are women that were raped at 14 and 16 years old, and we have to release Epstein files. It's the right thing to do. It's what we promised.
What we promised. By the way, if you haven't yet, please hit the like button and stick around because we're actually going to cover something interesting that Wolves in Finance put out 2 days ago, I think it was, about the Tyler Robinson case. We'll probably close with that later. So that'll be the second half of the show regarding Tyler Robinson, Erika Kirk. So you definitely want to stay for the second half of the stream. But again, she is out here saying, this is what we promised. This is the law. They created a law. Hamas Massey and her and Rokana and them put forth a law saying that they need to release these files. And she's going to explain what happened around that time of the law, if you remember.
And he was so angry at me. And he told me that his friends would get hurt. He said people that I supposedly know. He said at Mar-a-Lago, and I'm not a member of Mar-a-Lago. I've only been there a handful of times for certain events or campaign functions. So I don't know these people, but he said that his friends would get hurt, and he was very, very angry at me. It was a very bad conversation.
What do you make of that, though?
He's covering it up. He fought us the entire time. He did.
Yes, they put millions of dollars against anybody, and they're still doing it. Trashed her, destroyed her career, like ruined her, just ruined her emotionally too. Like imagine the person you're fighting for, the office that's sitting in office, just calling you these disgusting names. It's horrifying. It's sad, man. It's sad. I feel bad, Obviously, I don't feel that bad, but you put yourself in the position, you try to help, and these people are just lost. They need Jesus, bro. And the problem is, if they're Jewish, they don't believe in Christ. And that's a big problem for them,
Did everything in his power to stop the Epstein files to be released. He even forced Mike Johnson.
The reason why I throw that in there is because Trump is a Jew.
Speaker of the House, to do everything he could do to stop it from being released. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. We were even shut down for 8 weeks. We had a government shutdown back in the fall of 2025 for 8 weeks. And I believe that was part of trying to prevent the Epstein files from coming out.
If that's true, then it's quite possible he started a war with Iran so that he could cover up the Epstein files. He was dropping bombs so he could cover up the Epstein files. Maybe the latest psyop that happened at the White House Correspondents Dinner on Saturday was to run cover for what's not happening with the disclosure of the Epstein files. Maybe there's no length to which Trump wouldn't go to make sure that those never reach the public.
It's covering up for rapists and people that have committed all types of crimes. It's completely wrong.
What did you think about Melania Trump coming out with her sudden statement last week about Epstein and demanding that people go and give evidence under oath?
So they go into so let's see what he talks about when it comes to this actual interview.
Then why are you protecting pedos under Todd Blanche? So what was that you were saying, Donnie?
I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person.
Then why are you protecting pedos? Isn't it a sicker person who has the power to expose all these major multi-billionaire, very powerful pedophiles and then not exercising that power to...
My friends, though, my friends. It sounds like some kid in high school that doesn't want to like rat out his cocaine drug dealer friend to his parents or to the principal or something. But it's a lot worse than that, obviously. So it's so tiring, man.
Do just that?
I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not.
Ashamed of herself for reading a manifesto of someone that tried to kill him, allegedly. Why? He's that soft that he can't hear the words of a sicko in his words? If they're not true, then what's the point? Like, imagine if they would have said that to me. I would have just said, yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate that he sees it that way. We've released whatever. Like, I would say something else. I wouldn't say this shit. It's I feel bad. I'll pray for him. I hope that luckily he wasn't killed. It's unfortunate that people feel that way. If there's anything I can do to help make the American people feel better about the situation, I will do my best. Maybe we can talk about that further. Something like that, but not the self-righteous, conveyed anger of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like where you're just taking the blame away from yourself.
Not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I was
these are
never,
the gunman's words.
excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead. Let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in
disgraceful.
Let me get this straight. It's disgraceful to read and recite the manifesto of a guy who supposedly tried to end the life of a sitting president. That's disgraceful because the guy claimed to be sick and tired of being ruled by pedophile elitists. The type of elitists that you are actively criminally covering up for. And in case you were under the false assumption that Rand Paul...
Oh, he drops this. I forgot that.
...is somehow on our side because he says a lot of correct, right, freedom-loving things. He just posted this today. I'm dropping a bill tomorrow. Let's build the ballroom. After the White House posted this on their X account. Build the White House ballroom.
So he goes through the whole thing. We're not going to do all that, but yeah. I mean, dude, I'm so glad he played this. Check this out. So instead of being secure, this is how they're talking about. So in this post, there's like the ridiculous ballroom lawsuit brought by a woman walking her dog who has absolutely no standing to bring such a suit must be dropped immediately. Nothing should be allowed to interfere with its construction, which is on budget and substantially ahead of schedule.
Room sitting on top for unsecured people to pour in and is inside the gates of the most secure building in the world, the White House. It's so secure, in fact, that a regular cameraman and...
Let me know if you've seen this clip in the chat. Put clip if you've seen it. Put no if you haven't.
And his son were walking down the streets of Washington, D.C. in front of the White House and just happened upon a federal officer, a U.S. Parks Police officer who was tuned into the Cartoon Network and was fast asleep in his patrol vehicle. That's how secure the White House is. Trump continues.
Bro, how crazy is that, dude? How crazy is that? Even if it's not like any federal employee that's an officer that is outside of the White House should be on guard. You know what I mean? The dude is asleep with a freaking tablet or a laptop watching TV. That's the type of security. See what I'm saying? Like the mental, like the grasping the inability to have the proper training for the staff is beyond ridiculous. You don't take $400 million in taxpayer money when you could fire people and rehire them or hire better people, hire a new director, some shit. No, instead, let's just build a surveillance state and a bunker for the NSA and for the CIA and for the fucking military of all things. Just take the money, bro. Go ahead. Build that shit. That's where we're at. So insane. Thank you, Destroy the Blob, for the $5 banger. Thanks for your work, thanks. Thank you for that. Destroy the Blob again with the $5. Gary Melton challenged anyone to present him with anything actionable in the Epstein files. Someone needs to take him up on that. Oh my gosh, bro. The guy is just a troll. The guy is a troll. I think that'd be a great one for Ian Carroll. I vote Ian Carroll. Thanks for the super chat. All right. So they're also now saying Obama is committing treason. We're going to do this briefly, and then we're going to hop over to the Wolves Finance video. Let's see what this is.
Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, after speaking at the White House press briefing, also joined Jesse Waters in prime time on Fox News to discuss those latest allegations. Let's play out that clip.
So apparently they're trying to put Obama away for treason. I don't know what they're going to plan to do, how strong their case is, but it's Tulsi Gabbard. So she's coming out and saying this stuff. Let me know if you think that Obama should go away for treason in the chat.
Joins me now. All right, Director, tell me the story about how you found this evidence.
Well, as you know, Jesse, the integrity of our democratic republic, of our elections, is of paramount importance to the American.
I want to say before this rolls, it's like I think that people should be held accountable. I do. Especially if there is really treason actually happening. So I would need to study the case. Okay. I don't know enough. I don't know much at all regarding this. However, when you start imprisoning presidents, past presidents, what do you think that's going to do to you? You have all these businesses, Trump, I'm speaking now about. You have all these businesses. You're obviously doing all of this, in my opinion, shady, corrupt stuff. Thank you for the dollar banger. I appreciate you. The last real gangster. You're doing all of this stuff as if nobody's going to come after you. But you're leaving yourself open for complete annihilation by another president. Especially a Democrat or a liberal or whoever. They're acting as if they're not going to have another president after Trump. That's what it looks like. They're acting like Trump is the last president. It is so wild to watch. It is so wild to watch.
American people, knowing what had occurred previously, the things, this Russia hoax thing that was called a conspiracy, I wanted to get to the bottom of the truth of what actually happened here. This was obviously important to President Trump.
And if you're going to arrest Obama, why don't you go and actually do something about 9/11 and about all the people that, bought the freaking building that was asbestos, took out insurance on it, and then all of the dancing Israel, all of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many other things that could be prosecuted that are more important, in my opinion, than some election interference. Yeah, that's important. Okay. But also, the world changed. Thousands of Americans died, and we still don't have the truth. There's so many, like Charlie Kirk, there's so many things. I can't wait to show you what I think, Wolves in Finance, he brought up an interesting point. So stick around.
But again, is an issue of importance to every single American in this country and the future of our country as a republic. So shortly after coming into this position as Director of National Intelligence, I formed a special team to investigate this issue. I got to tell you, it wasn't easy. There were a lot of deep state obstacles that exist still within the intelligence community. But ultimately, we had a whistleblower who came forward that brought some critical pieces to this story. And we were able to discover these documents and find these documents that really pointed to President Obama directing his national security leaders in James Clapper and John Brennan to manufacture this January 2017 intelligence community assessment. The investigation that I led at ODNI that we released last week, Friday, provided a lot of those foundational building blocks and proof for what we know happened. The report that we released today, the House Intelligence Committee Oversight Majority Staff report that investigated that January 2017 assessment that President Obama had manufactured with fake intelligence in order to achieve, knowingly using false intelligence in order to get to the conclusion that he wanted to promote to the American people that Putin had acted in favor of President Trump winning that election in 2016. The report we released today, line by line, goes through it, dissecting and debunking the knowing falsehoods and lies that were.
Okay, so that might be true. Okay, obviously there's an investigation underway. Let me show you something though, because I made a post here about Kash Patel. Kash Patel is taking Russian money, by the way. Where's my post? Where is my post? It's here somewhere. Sorry, I don't want to make anyone dizzy. Where did I put it? No, where is it? Where is it? Did I not save it? Let me see my bookmarks. Because when you think about what Kash has actually done, taken foreign money. Oh man, don't tell me I didn't save it. Now you get to see my whole timeline. Oh, here we go. This is great. Have you guys seen this? Look at this. Okay, well, I guess I thought I had it, bro. Where is it? Damn it. Well, anyway, he took $25,000 from the Kremlin. Thought I had it, but I guess I don't. Oh, well. All right, so we're going to move on to the next part of the show, which I found quite interesting. Wolves in Finance. Welcome to Cajun GX. Members only Fridays. Please join for 99 cents. It's the best deal on the internet. Come and learn from your boy. We've got plenty of interesting things to talk about on Fridays that we definitely hold back to see if the community would like to see something like that, or just do things that I wouldn't typically showcase on a show like AI, teaching what I do with AI, how I do things. I'm a developer. I build architecture for companies. I all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in just coming out, talk about Christ, God, talk about religion, what is Judaism? What is Christianity? What is Judeo-Christian? We've done stuff like that before. So make sure you join for that. Fridays, members only live streams. The base tier gets you access. So let's go to the now. Let's go to this video here. Close all these other ones. Where is the playlist? Here it is. Watch later. Let me pull this up. Okay, so there's a really good episode. You know what? I think we're gonna go over the Synagogue of Satan. That's what I want to do on Friday. Here, I'll give you a sneak peek before so you can see what we'll cover. This guy did a great video, and he shows I'm going to cover this on Friday. There's a whole, I know some have studied a little bit of this. So if you want to see a little bit about what is going to be covered this Friday, this is a quick.
Satan. Somebody hit the spooky. All right, let's talk about the Synagogue of Satan. Somebody hit the spooky music, please.
Who or what is the Synagogue of Satan?
Well, you see, the Bible teaches that there is the Synagogue of Satan. They're the ones that control the media.
You are the Synagogue of Satan, and you have wrapped your tentacles around the U.S. government.
Behold, I will make them of the Synagogue of Satan. I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley.
What if I told you that there's a secret cabal of powerful people controlling the planet?
Rothschilds.
Committing false flag attacks against innocent civilians.
9/11.
All in service of an ancient demonic cult.
Bohemian Grove.
Offering blood sacrifices to bring about the Antichrist and the apocalypse.
Homosexual amphibians.
And what if I told you that this group is called the Synagogue of Satan?
Are you completely out of your fucking mind? What is happening right now?
I'm setting up the video.
No, I get that. But what is this synagogue of Satan crap? Like, what are we doing after this? The Nazi base on the moon? And I mean, look at this thumbnail. What kind of brain rot YouTube clickbait bullshit is this thumbnail? What kind of a moron would click on something like that? Don't look at them. Look at me. This channel is supposed to be about vaguely serious socio-political commentary.
So that's what we're going to cover on Friday. Make sure you join for $1 because it's going to get crazy. I got a lot of history on that we're going to discuss. All right, so let's get to the Tyler Robinson. Let me read these super chats in between here, like I promised. Elizabeth Minton for the $2 make a holla. Need info on extra vote that can screw the government. Need info on extra vote that can screw the government. Is that a statement or a question? Thank you for the super chat. Yo, what's up, girl on Friday on Tuesday? Girl Friday on Tuesday. Thank you for the $50. Very kind of you, very generous. Fun factoid, Tulsi Gabbard was in charge of the 440th Civil Affairs Battalion, and this unit's job, aside from psychological operations, was basically to make it possible for special forces to conduct black ops throughout the Indo-Pacific region. Yeah, that's sorry, that's a, a lot of people when you think about, like, that's what I'm trying to say, you guys. Tulsi Gabbard might be on face value, looks great. When you look into the past of a lot of these people, and again, thank you for the massive super chat, Girl Friday on Tuesday from, what is it? Girl Friday on Tuesday, yeah. This is exactly the kind of receipt that we kind of needed dropped. Like, it was a good time for that, right? If you unpack it, the 440th Civil Affairs Battalion, and it is a U.S. Army Reserve unit headquartered out of Fort Meade, and civil affairs they did like civil affairs and military doctrine, basically like soft power arm type of stuff, and they do psyops, right? Psychological operations. And they work basically hand in glove with special forces, and they prepare operational environments. Headphones are hot. And that means information warfare. Okay. That's what that is. They specialize in information warfare, like perception management, infrastructure, covert infrastructure action. So she served in that unit. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's been a while since I even looked at this stuff. She deployed in that capacity. So that's her public military record, actually. And it's not a smear, right? It's just documentation. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, is Thomas Massey really the last standing good politician? I bet that'd be a great book. The Last Great Politician. I mean, she's the director of national intelligence. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Her story, it's a perfect timeline for her right now to come out and start think about a career civil affairs psyops officer running a perfectly timed information op that consolidates surveillance state authority under the executive privilege while distracting the public with an Obama era scandal that's been reported for years. Like, why is everyone acting like this is new? They've been talking about this shit for freaking years. I'm not telling you what to think, but nice super chat. Thanks for the banger. I appreciate you. Keith89, welcome. Member for 2 months. Great to be a dankster in this day and age. All right, let's, I guess this is 12 minutes. I don't mind going and playing through. So let's just start right here.
A lawyer and filed an invocation of speedy trial rights. I'm going to go through this because I think people are missing what is really happening in this document. Erika Kirk is filing this as the victim. She is claiming that as the victim representative, that she can assert her right to a speedy trial. This is something that is unique to criminal cases in the state of Utah.
What is this, Keza? Sounds like you're making excuses again. I'm out. Okay, I don't know what's bothering you. I'll watch your numbers vids. I mean, sometimes it's not for everybody, but I'm just telling you the facts. I'm not making excuses. I'm sorry you feel that way.
This is not done in other states. In Utah, victims
strange.
have rights in the trial. The first obvious question is that Erika Kirk is not the victim. She was not the person who was shot. How can she file this document? Well, if the actual victim in the crime dies, then a close family member can file on their behalf.
He makes a really interesting point, and I'm not the biggest fan of Wolves Finance. I've seen a lot of weird stuff from him. I don't personally, I don't really trust him that much, but when there's good information, I always give where good information is due, right? I always give the credit when it's due. So he talks about the fact that Utah is a state where someone like the victim, he's going to go through all of it, but Erika Kirk is able to be a victim representative. And it's very interesting what he says about that in particular, about the state of Utah in particular, how she's doing this positioning of victim representative and how she might not even be viable as a selection, right? So it's very interesting.
As the victim representative, that is what Erika Kirk is doing.
This is a Fox News alert. Erika Kirk putting the judge presiding over her late husband Charlie's murder trial on notice by invoking her right to a speedy trial as the representative of a victim of crime. You can do that in Utah. They're the only state to have such a law. And in a new court filing, she is accusing defense attorneys of dragging their feet as they attempt to kick the prosecutor off the case.
I'm going to show you what the law in Utah actually says, because I think this is important. Utah Statute 77-38-9 says, in cases in which the victim is deceased or incapacitated, upon request from the victim's spouse, parent, child, or close friend, the court shall designate a representative or representatives of the victim to exercise the rights of a victim under this chapter on behalf of the victim. Okay, so that seems to explain how Erika Kirk can take on this role. But wait, there's more. Section 4 says, the representative of a victim of a crime shall not be the accused or a person who appears to be accountable or otherwise criminally responsible for or criminally involved in the crime or conduct, a related crime or conduct, or a crime or act arising from the same conduct, criminal episode, or plan as the crime or conduct is defined under the laws of the state. That is pretty broadly written, and the intent is clear. If you are a suspect...
So again, so you can become the victim representative, all right? The accused or a person who appears to be, so this is where you shall not be. A person who appears to be accountable, and I'm not, this is all from his content, so I am just commentating on it. I think it's interesting. I'm not saying Erika is involved. I have no idea what's going on there. But I will say that this right here stating that for criminal involvement in the crime or conduct or related crime or conduct or crime or act arising from the same conduct, criminal episode, or plan as a crime. Okay, but he goes further.
The state. That is pretty broadly written, and the intent is clear. If you are a suspect in the crime, you cannot claim victims' rights. For instance, if you are a wife that murders your husband, you cannot then walk into court and say, I want to assert my victim's rights. You do not get victims' rights if you are somehow involved in the crime. And the law actually states that it is merely the appearance of being involved that does.
That's where it gets interesting. Merely the appearance or questionable instance of persons might being involved. Just the appearance. Shady activity, shady business dealings, shady things that appear to be reasons that could have led up to an assassination. I don't know the law there, but he goes on.
Disqualifies you. It says that the representative of the victim shall not be a person who appears to be involved in the crime. If someone just appears to be suspicious, it disqualifies them from asserting victims' rights. People need to understand this. Just because Erika Kirk was Charlie Kirk's wife does not automatically give her these rights. She has to pass this legal test in order to exercise these rights.
I put a poll up in the chat. I would love to know what you think. Do you think Erika Kirk was involved in the UVU Charlie Kirk instance? Do you think she was involved at all? Do you think that she would be her victim representation should be dismissed actually and led to a mistrial because of the core fact that the case is being filed as she's the victim representative. Because of her, do you believe that? And do you think that she was involved? That's all that this is. This is all that he's saying. And this is all that I'm asking. I don't know. I'm not saying it, but I want to know what you think.
Utah law. In my opinion, she does not pass this hurdle. All these months later, we are still not sure of what Erika Kirk was doing on the day that Charlie Kirk was murdered. I have heard that she was in a parking lot at a hospital with her mother. I've also heard that she was not with her mother, but she was at the airport.
But that I happened upon some information that Erika was at the office of Hopkinson Aircrafts when she received the news that Charlie was dead.
What was she doing? And why can't we get a straight story from Erika Kirk? In my opinion, the fact that Erika Kirk keeps lying about her alibi makes her suspicious and should invalidate her from claiming victims' rights. Let me be clear. I am not saying that Erika Kirk is the murderer. I do not know. What I want to see is a fair trial. And what is happening here is not fair. The real question you need to ask yourself is, do you think Erika Kirk is suspicious? If she even has the appearance of somehow being involved in criminal activity related to Charlie Kirk's death, she cannot claim victims' rights. I think Erika Kirk has tricked the judge into recognizing her as the victim representative when she is not actually eligible. Now let us go back to the hearing, because you are going to be shocked. This is the prosecutor arguing in the hearing that Tyler Robinson's defense should not be granted a continuance because the defense wants more time to prepare for the preliminary hearing.
It's unnecessary and it's going to infringe on the victim's right to a speedy trial, as well as the state's ability to present the case. Justice delayed.
Wouldn't that be crazy if the whole thing was a hoax and they knew that this victim, and then all of a sudden they were like, it's a mistrial, Tyler goes free, and there's going to be another investigation, and then that gets dragged on for 8 years. Wouldn't that be wild? I mean, it could go any way right now. I really think so.
Is justice denied, as the saying goes, and that's because it affects a victim's right to a speedy trial. And if the continuance was granted, it would affect the victim's right to a speedy trial.
The prosecution is saying that we need to speed up this trial because of Erika Kirk's victims' rights. He said it 3 times. That paper that Erika Kirk filed is having a very real impact on this trial. Now let us go to the defense. What did the defense have to say about Erika Kirk?
And we also don't want Mrs. Kirk and her family to have to go through it again, because that's actually, in my opinion, the greatest harm to surviving victims in a case like this is the long run when cases don't proceed as the Constitution requires.
And so going to that point that you just asked, so how do you propose the court balance your request for a potentially large, a long delay against the constitutional rights of victim representative Ms. Kirk in her right to a speedy disposition of the case?
This is crazy to me. The defense counsel and the judge are worrying about Erika Kirk. If Erika Kirk could be considered a suspect in any way, she should not be influencing the outcome of this case against someone else.
What's crazy is they haven't even made at least public the fact that she could be looked into. She's actually at the White House. You know, she's not only is she actually at the White House, she's actually at the White House in a $2,000 dress. I wanted to show this real quick intermission. Bro, Jesse on Fire, he shows this clip. And I didn't notice it, but when she's walking by and she's saying she's scared or whatever, she's so scared and she wants to go home, right? Listen to what happens here.
Listen closely to Erika Kirk's, into the background of this, dude. Okay, this is insane.
I just want to go find you.
Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Why so sad? I had to listen to it a couple times before I heard it, but once I did, I can't unhear it. Every time, listen. Why so sad? Ready?
I just want to go find you.
Why so sad? That is so wild.
So sad. Ready?
I just want to go find you.
Is that not crazy, dude? Like that's literally someone who's there. Why so sad?
I just want to go find you.
He's so crazy, dude. That is so crazy. That is.
I mean, you know, That's the first time I've seen her actually looking sad. No, I mean, actually, that is the face of someone who actually, unless it's more fakeness or lies. I want to go home. Yeah. Anyways, I thought that was interesting. But yeah, she's there at these events, and her husband just got murdered, and she just says, "I want to go home." Okay, that's where the hell your ass should have been since September. Home with your family, not dolled up, not on stage with fireworks, not owning a business and operating some big ass organization with hundreds of millions of dollars, not collecting merch money and all this shit. Your ass should have been at fucking home. That's where you should have been. Now you want to go home with this bullshit assassination attempt? That's when you want to go home. You were so scared to go to University of Georgia that while the secret, now I understand, I guess, why the Secret Service, they're like trying to make it look as if they're that incompetent. Why? So you're fine to just go to some jank ass hotel? You know that hotel is a piece of shit, right? So you're fine to go there in DC, in like one of the world's capital of murders and shit in the new world, I guess you could say, or whatever, the Western world. You're fine to go there. You're fine to drive through DC, where any one of these cats could just bust out a rock of crack and a gat and just pew off. You're not worried about that. You're not worried about your safety driving around town. You want to go home now? Now you want to go home? I don't know, bro.
Defense counsel is saying that they are not getting the evidence they are requesting, so they need more time. And the judge is saying that they do not get more time because of Erika Kirk.
Another important question is, why haven't the FBI and the ATF provided data files that they utilized 6 months ago?
The prosecution has this information. They're just not giving it to the defense. This is deeply unfair. Another potential suspect should not be able to push through a speedy trial so that Tyler Robinson does not have time to put on a thorough defense.
Isn't that interesting? If they have enough time to piece together anything that could implicate her as a suspect, then immediately the case would go to mistrial, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this because I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure if she's the one filing as the victim's representative, then you would have to restart the case. Now, he says something interesting at the end here. Actually, let me just continue to play this because there's some very shady stuff going on here. The way that these two react. I even made a post about it.
And not going along with it. Let me show you something else. The people at Turning Point are also acting suspicious. They recently did a podcast on the Charlie Kirk show where they showed their frustration over why the court case was taking so long.
What would your bet be on when we might finally start impaneling jurors for this?
Look at their reactions when she says how long it might be to get jurors on trial.
Early 2028. I would put the over under on early 2020.
Bro. I don't know if what guilt looks like very often, but if it had a look, I'm just saying it looks very fishy.
28.
2028.
It's just the nature of
I mean, let me slow this down to regular speed.
Capital cases.
What would your bet be on when we might finally start impaneling jurors for this trial?
Early 2028. I would put the over under on early 2028.
Bro. Dude. What is the issue? Why? Where's your rush? Is it because of money? Is like if I think like objectively, and if I'm not saying they're involved, right? I'm just saying, like, if they aren't involved, what are the other reasons that you would have this face? I would imagine it would be, gosh, we got to go through this and deal with all of this stuff. The company is like dealing with a lot of stuff, you know. And she's like, yeah, someone pointed out in the chat, why is she smiling? That's an interesting, I mean, she's mid-talk, right? Yeah, she is smiling. They don't look happy, bro. He's looking at someone else like, yo, bro. Yo, this is some shit. This is not good. He's looking like, oh, man. I don't know. This is what I see. And Wolves Finance pointed it out.
2028.
It's just the nature of capital cases. And in a case like this as well, it's already being kind of foreshadowed that there are going to be many technical types of challenges to the evidence.
This is Blake Neff and Andrew Colvett. Why do they look so upset that the trial is taking so long? Andrew Colvett is literally holding his head. I find this behavior very suspicious.
I don't know, man. Let me know in the chat what you think. This is not looking good. What are the rushes, right? Like, that's all. It's like, okay, well, I just try to think, like, I guess the business, right? I just think about that. I think about also the stress and the trauma of having to go through a murder trial. Maybe they are being asked a lot of questions. Maybe there's it. But in my mind, when you look at it from my view, just from how I see things being played out, it feels like they're concerned that that's too much time for other reasons that aren't involving the business, that aren't involving Erika Kirk pertaining to getting the trial through and having him go to prison. This looks to me like they are concerned, worried, and stressed. Concerned is a good word, especially Blake Neff, especially both of them. And I think she was so off put from this facial cue that she couldn't help but like smile in a way that's like, oh shit, I didn't expect them to act like that. God dang. I don't know, bro. So he goes on to say something about Candace, which I find quite interesting.
Why are they so concerned about taking the time to make sure that justice is done? The fact that all these people at Turning Point, along with Erika Kirk, are trying to rush through this investigation seems to me to be a pretty good reason why we should all slow down and take a closer look at all of this. I think I have found a solution. Let us go back to Utah Law Statute 77-38-9. Did you notice that one of the people who could be classified as a victim representative includes a close friend? I want to remind everybody that Candace Owens was a...
Isn't that interesting? Close friend. In cases in which the victim is deceased or incapacitated, upon request from the victim's spouse, parent, child, or close friend, the court shall designate a representative or representatives of the victim to exercise the rights of a victim under this chapter on behalf of the victim.
That one of the people who could be classified as a victim representative includes a close friend. I want to remind everybody that Candace Owens was a close friend of Charlie Kirk. She has the text messages and video to prove she was a close friend. Under Utah law, Candace Owens herself can file as a victim representative for Charlie Kirk. She could file today, and unlike Erika Kirk, Candace Owens can request that the investigation be thorough and that justice is done. Candace Owens can request that the defense counsel should be given the time that they need. Under Utah law, Candace Owens has just as much right as Erika Kirk to be recognized as the victim representative. In fact, I would argue...
I sent this to somebody that talks to Candace regularly. And I said, you may want to get this to Candace. I think it's interesting, at least to take a look at it. But if you think about it, she would surely... I'm not saying that this would even be like a thing, right? Like if that's the case, they'd have to go through and prove that they were close friends, not business associates, like pertaining to necessarily. Like a close friend and a business partner are very different things. She was both. Tyler Boyer, Andrew Cole, like Tyler Boyer even said I could hitch my wagon to this guy. That doesn't sound like a friend. That sounds like someone trying to get something out of somebody, right? But Candace Owens, she was there when he was nobody. She was there when he was nobody. And she maintained that. Yeah, maybe friends distance themselves over time when you go through business tribulations and new things that are happening. And, you know, she separated and all this, but she still had her interest in TPUSA. in some form. I forget which how. But when you think about anybody else in his life that wasn't trying to get something from him, don't you think Candace plays that card very well? Like is in that position, that target. If you were to choose somebody that's shown true friendship, I haven't seen anybody else for Charlie Kirk. And I find this very interesting. And this is why you stick through the whole show, because these are the things that I try to bring out. I will try to keep. Sometimes in the past, the show's gotten boring, and I've recognized that. And I want to hold good information throughout the entire show. But this right here is probably the most important part of this live stream. Besides like all the other stuff. All the other stuff is commentary. This could be life-changing for somebody, right?
That Candace Owens has more rights than Erika Kirk, because Erika Kirk has the appearance of somehow being involved in the crime. The judge will be required under Utah law to honor a request from Candace Owens. He cannot accept one victim request while ignoring the other, because he has to remain impartial. Now, technically, the judge does have the discretion to do whatever he wants. But if he does not accept a request from Candace Owens, it will show everyone that he is biased and the trial is a sham. I hope that
I don't know if you can say that particularly, but the thing is, like, it's just, why isn't she under investigation at all? Maybe she is, and maybe they haven't told us. I like to, my light. I like to believe, oh shoot, my light fell. Oh no, hold on. I like to believe that things are happening and there's just things that we don't see, right? But look, there's something here, okay? I can't say that if he declines this, it's a big transformation in the case. I can't say that it's a sham just because he would decline it if she tried to get that authorized. I don't even know what the hell that would look like. But I definitely think it's worth looking into on Candace's behalf. And also, I think that, like, everybody around Charlie needs to be investigated. Everybody.
Candace Owens steps up and asserts her rights in the trial of Tyler Robinson. Now I want to hear from you.
So, yeah, let me know. I'd like to hear from you as well. Let me know in the chat what you think about that. So, like I said, today was going to be an excellent stream. I hope that you liked it as much as I did. I was looking forward to this. Again, welcome to all the new Danksters in the building. Please hit the like and the subscribe button if you haven't already, and share this with anybody that you think needs to see it. I think today was a great show. I hope that you, again, felt the same way. Please share it with anybody that you think needs to see it. Thank you, Duchess of Camelot. We're just pieces on their game board. Yeah, pretty much. That's how it feels. We are pawns that can be removed, added, lied to. I mean, there's no transparency. It's quite clear. I wish that we did not have to witness such atrocities from the people that we put into power. The American people voted these fuckers in. It's just sad, bro. It's sad to see. I hate seeing it, that we are just completely, we're obviously nothing to them, right? Thanks for the super chat. James Wells, what's up, bro? $5. What's up, Dankster? Your hair is looking fly today. No Diddy. Have a great day, bro. Thanks. I appreciate you. Yeah. I mean, I just put gel in. I cut my own hair, and sometimes I cut it hella short, and so it's grown out enough, right? So put some gel in, took a shower. I was up early. I was doing some research for this project that I'm working on. What's up, Grandma? You are never boring. You drop gems constantly. Thank you. Yeah, we have a good time here on this show. Shout out to Awaken with JP Sears. I put out a video the other day from our live stream. I might put some more content out from Jesse and JP. I would like to get them on again and do another show. Oh, I think I'm going to be on Jesse's show today at 3:30. he invited me on with Kelly Rabin and Jordan Henshaw. I might go. We'll see. I have some work to do, so we'll check it out. But yeah, thanks for the supers. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back. What's today? We'll be back likely tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I'll try to cut this into a shorter video for the rest of the people that haven't seen, that can't sit through a 2-hour live stream. But yeah, thanks again. I appreciate all the love. We'll see you guys later. And check out one of the videos in the playlist on my channel. I'm sure since a lot of new people are here, you'd love to see something that I put out in either my videos, live streams, plenty of content to go through. Lots of receipts dropped on this channel. So we'll catch you in the next one. God bless. Love you all. Join the community if you'd like. We'll see you next time. Peace.